Welcome to our test review. Okay, tomorrow's chapter 3 test is going to start out with a question just like this, where you're finding the ratio of some sort of animal to another sort of animal. Now you notice that there are birds listed first and then dogs. So our ratio has to be in that order as well. So I'm going to count the birds, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I see 6 birds, okay? And then I count all the dogs. I see 13 dogs. Okay, that is my ratio. I could write that differently. I could write it with a colon. Still means 6 birds per every 13 dogs. And then also we can show our ratios as division like that. Okay, on the next question, it says the tape diagram represents the ratio of your monthly allowance to your friend's monthly allowance. That means your allowance and your friend's allowance is $84. The monthly allowance is total $84. So how much is each allowance? Well, we have to figure out what the ratio is first. It looks like you're getting 7 to every 5 of what your friend gets, okay? And altogether, the number of rectangles you and your friend share in this tape diagram will add up to 7 plus 5, which is 12. So I know that I have to take 84 and divide it equally amongst all of these bins, right? To find out how much each of those bins is valued at. And I think, if my calculating is right, 12 times 7 is 84, okay? So I go ahead and I know that every bin is worth 7, so that means if I have 7 bins to fill up, my amount is going to be 49, because 7 times $7 would be 7 times 7, which is 49. Your friend has 35, and we can even double check. If that adds up to 84, then we are correct, and indeed it does. So you get $49, and your friend only gets $35 for allowance. Okay. Now we're going to use this ratio table to figure out the answers to A and B in question 3. A recipe uses 4 parts of milk for every 3 parts of flour. So if we need to complete the ratio table, we'll just use what we do know to figure out what we need to know. I can see 4 got bigger by 2 times. 4 times 2 gives us 8. So I'm going to make 3 bigger by 2 times, and my answer here will be 6. Okay. If I peek back here and look to there, 9 times 3, or 3 times 3 gives us 9. So I can see then I would have to do 4 times 3 to give us our answer, which would be 12 here. And then finally you can check back and say, oh, I see 4 times 4 gives us 16. So I'm going to go way back here and multiply 3 times 4, and I will again get 12. So I've got 12 twice for answers. Okay, so my ratio table is complete. I have a 4 to 3, 8 to 6, 12 to 9, 16 to 12 for my ratios. If you use 16 cups of milk, how much flour do you use? So they're telling us that we're going to use 16 cups of milk. According to our chart, that tells us that we will be using 12 cups of flour. Okay. Very good. Now, number 4, a meal has 170 calories in 3 servings. Meal B has 160 calories in 4 servings. So we want to figure out which one has more calories, because it says which meal has more calories, meal A or meal B. So we're going to do a unit rate per 1 meal. This one had 3, this one had 4 servings. Okay, I can see 3 will go into 17 5 times. And I have a remainder of 2. And I think 6 times. Remainder of 2. Okay. And this one actually figures out pretty equally. So I can see that meal A has a few more calories, around 16 2/3 more than meal B. So meal A has more calories. Now, it says to represent this ratio relationship using a graph. So we can remember that this is our x values and this is our y values, and that time needs to go along the bottom. Don't forget that important detail. Time in minutes for this case. Don't leave your axes blank. They need to be labeled. And then distance here. Now I need to figure out what I want to use for scale. And I think along the bottom I'm going to use counting by fours, because it looks like I need to get at least to 16, and they only gave me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. Okay, and then 28. Along the distance, I think I'll count by twos, because the highest we got was to 8. Okay, and then we're going to think of the time as the x value, time in minutes, and the distance as the y value, of course. So that means for the first number, we go across that many, and for the second number, we go up, since there are no negatives. So over 4 up 2 gives us our first dot right about there. Over 8 up 4, this is our next dot. Over 12 up 6, and you can see this is making a nice straight line. And over 16 up 8. Before you're done though, you need to take from the 0, 0, or the origin, and make a nice straight line that goes straight through those points that you've created. And if you want, you can get fancy and you can even label those points 4, 2, but you don't have to on your test. If you want to put those coordinates there, you sure can, but I am not going to grade you down if you don't. Now, the things that I will take points off for is if you accidentally put time here instead of here. We want the time on the x-axis. We want words telling us what these axes mean, okay? And then, of course, we want to know where you're putting your dots. So your dots need to be visible along with your line, okay? Now, next question. A meal has 408 calories and 8 servings. Find the per one, remember, unit rate, per one. Anytime you're looking for unit rate, you divide. They've given you the total number and the information about 8 servings. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and just divide to find our answer. And it looks to me like there are 51 calories per serving on that meal. Oh, it's so hard to write nicely on this. Okay, easy peasy. You earn $25 for washing 5 cars. How much do you earn for washing 4 cars? The first thing I see here is I have a rate that I can solve for the unit rate of 25 makes 5. For every 5 cars you make $25. That means it's $5 per 1 car. So since I know I'm making $5 per 1 car, I can take this information and multiply 5 times 4 to find out how much money I'm going to make for 4 cars. That's going to be $20. Okay. So we haven't done that very last section of this chapter, so you will not see these questions on your test. Okay? In fact, quite a few of the questions will be missing because we haven't done that last section of that chapter, but I want to move on as fast as we can, so we're going to leave those off. So the question that you'll have next will look like this. You and your friend complete video game levels at the same rate. You complete 5 levels in 45 hours. How many levels does your friend complete in 9 hours? Well, the information we do have is our information. 5 per every 45. So I want to take that and I want to divide to find my unit rate. So I can see that I am going to complete a level approximately every 9 hours. How many does your friend complete in 9 hours? Well, they tell you that you work at the same rate, so your friend is going to get 1 level complete in 9 hours, because you also get those levels complete in about 9 hours. Okay. You upload photos and videos to social media websites. The ratio of photos to videos is 20 to 1. If you uploaded 3 videos, how many photos did you upload? Okay, so if your ratio is 20 to 1, and you find out, oh, I have uploaded 3 videos. Okay, 3 times what? So I do know that when I look diagonally on any ratio, if I multiply diagonally, those answers have to equal. Okay, so going this way, 1 times what number equals 60? Well, 1 times 60 equals 60, so we know 60 is our answer. Okay, but really all I have to know is that I can multiply to find the equivalent ratios, and then go ahead and if you needed to, if this number is anything other than 1, you would divide by that number to get that answer. But since that's a 1, we don't have to. Okay. This is not going to be a question. Miles per hour, feet per minute, not necessary. The next question we do have is this question, and we don't have these 2 questions. Okay? So the ratio of these 3 numbers is 5 to 1 to 8. And the sum of your numbers is 28. What are the 3 numbers? Well, if we take and we add the sum of these numbers in your ratio to find out what the base is, it says 5 plus 1 plus 8, doesn't it? So 5 and 1 make 6 plus 8 is 14. So the sum of just the ratio, the base amount, is 14. So that tells me, I kind of know 14 times 2 equals 28. So that tells me that maybe I should double each of the numbers in the ratio by multiplying by 2. And 5 times 2 is 10, 1 times 2 is 2, 8 times 2 is 16. Now when I add these together, I should come up with 28 for the sum of the ratio numbers. So 10 plus 2 is 12, and 12 plus 16 is indeed 28. Oops, I don't know why I put the 2 there, but I did. Okay, so you're just going to look at your ratio and know that if you can figure out what the sum is here of the regular numbers they gave you, figure out how many times bigger this is than that, you should be able to do the same thing with the other numbers, multiply by that same amount. Okay, so if you didn't know that 28 was 2 times bigger than 14, you could have always done that division to solve for it and find out how much you need to multiply the other 3 numbers to increase for that much. Now, just like last time, if you do watch the video in full, you will be getting extra credit. And it's only a 10-question test, but you still get the whole hour to work on it. So I'm sure everybody will be able to finish within that class period. Best of luck, and if you have any questions, you can still send a text message to my number, 406-478-6242. And if you need help during the test, you can come to my desk and ask for a little bit of coaching. I don't mind at all. Good luck.